By CAN TV Connect 21. This evening we're going to talk about a few things, and I think the most important one probably is grief. Since unfortunately my guest didn't make it, we didn't talk all weekend. Plan was to talk in the last 3 or 4 days, but unfortunately Friday, my sister died that lives in my building. So in honor of Sheila, we'll talk about how great and vibrant a person she was, how she used to sing all over the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois for various choirs, church choirs, community choirs, city choirs. And she just was always a vibrant person. And, you know, being that we help people recover from substance abuse, alcoholism, and pharmaceutical drug addictions, it's important that people realize that even in times of grief, you do not have to go back to those lifestyles. We also have worked with people who've gone in and out of jail to half their natural life, a third of their natural life, and some the majority of that natural life. Because we get people sometimes at 21, 22, sometimes we get them at 31, 32, sometimes we get them at 61, 62. Having spent half or most of their natural life in the penitentiary and or the legal jail system. Some start as early as juvenile justice system all the way through to 20, 30 years out of 60-year lifespan in the county jails or downstate in the white or the old Madden or in Madden for mental health. They end up down there in Pinckneyville and Joliet and all them other different Warrenville places where we got penitentiaries lined up throughout Illinois. Some of them towns we wouldn't even know in Chicago if it wasn't for the penitentiaries there. Some people wouldn't know they was even in the state if it wasn't for the penitentiary. And so dealing with that, you don't have to go back to those lifestyles because of grief. It can be process dealt with. Recommend if you don't have a regular counselor or a regular primary care physician put you in touch with a counselor, that you call Google the local psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist in your area. What facilities have them? Hospitals, mental health facilities, sometimes community health centers. Most of them have and or can put you in contact with organizations that can help you deal with your grief, the mental, emotional toll it may take, depending on whether it's your relationship to the deceased. I know right now I'm in the process of calling my people so that I can get a few more therapy sessions, process some things. I was feeling great coming out of a memorial service for another church member Saturday morning, and went to lunch with family and got home about 30 minutes, different things about what wasn't feeling good, comfortable, right, hit me, and I was trying to hurry up and plan a memorial service, and wow, did I feel the pressure cooker. And I realized I need to step back, slow down that process, give myself 4 weeks to help plan this memorial, give everybody 4 weeks, but most of all me and then one of my uncles who was going through some things. And the previous Saturday, I just did words of comfort for my biological uncle, my father's middle brother. And my father's youngest brother, the only one left, was like, you need to give yourself some time to process the immediate grief. You got to process losing your uncle, my brother. I got to process it. Give all us some time before we run into this memorial for your sister. I loved her dearly, but I'm telling you, your uncle need time. I was calling him to tell him I understood him saying don't let stress get the best of you. I realized I was stressing out. I need to slow down. So, and we came to the meeting of the minds, and we agreed we're gonna go for February 28th, give ourselves at least a month to set up this memorial service, And things have moved relatively fast since then. But I'm glad we're giving ourselves time. Plus, for people that sometimes move slow, you won't have to get upset with them. They're not moving faster if you're not rushing. So it's very important that we process these things, these feelings, these emotions. We have people to talk to. We call on family, friends. But most of all, we oftentimes need a little more professional help. And one thing, too, because some of the struggles and issues are going to be surrounding family. How well you getting along, not getting along. How well you getting support, how well you're not getting support. What kind of support you getting, what kind of support you're not getting. Who's contributing, who's not contributing. What are they contributing, what are they not contributing. There are a lot of questions start going through your head. And it's peculiar. I helped plan for my mom, but me and my sister was together helping do that. The sister that passed, it was the three of us, and then my brother came and was chiming in here and there, and we had her baby sisters helping us, and it just seemed like I didn't have to feel this pressure because it was so many different moving parts working on our behalf. But this time, I'm stuck smack in the middle of everybody. Aunts coming to me, checking on me, but also to see how we going to proceed and what I need them to do. Cousins checking on me, but what we need to do, how we can help. What's the plan? Sister in Peoria, you need to handle it. You and them cousins are ours. You and our cousins have to handle it. And I'm like, oh, so I have to be in the middle of every segment with my family. Then you have the church people. Then I have, gratefully, my recovery community. Then I have my work community. My work community's been great so far. Most of them. It's only one seemed like he don't care, or haven't seemed to show any concern. But that's okay, because that person's probably going through their own is going through a serious situation, potentially life or death. So they may be caught up in their own struggle, and that's understandable. I know even doing this, you start to wonder about your own life expectancy, your own quality of life. What can you do different? How healthy are you living? Here one day, literally, I seen it, gone the next. Or here 3 days earlier, when I come to see you 3 days later, you gone to glory. There's things we all have to unpack dealing with grief. We had Reverend Dr. Oscar Creel in here last year a few times talking about grief. Now, fortunately, this wasn't a violent death, so there's a whole nother set of things that one could ponder, wonder, and question, but I don't have those. This was natural causes. And this one was at home. So it's a little different, but it's still death. It's still grief. Then there's the question of, I'm a man, spiritual man, a man of the cloth, a man who's helped others through this, but I'm telling you, when you're in this position to help pull that together, it's not as easy when you're the person dead center have to help bring everything together. And when it's your sister versus a church member or community member or a recovery fellowship member, and you're helping out. But when you have to practically be in the middle of everything getting done, it's a lot more pressure and a lot more pondering, wondering, and trying not to make a misstep, trying to block out all the negative chatter around you. And I've seen some reasonably positive people say some negative things the last few days. And I've had to filter through that. And I've had to try not to, what we call blow a gasket. The pressure cooker. My pastor mentioned that in his message. That there are some pots and there are some pressure cookers. And which one are you? And how will you function in different situations? There are some important spiritual things to unpack. There are some important health things. So on the health front, do like I'm learning to do. You should do it earlier, those of you all especially younger than me. A lot of changes I didn't make till the age of 40, 45, 50. But I was told I needed to make those changes or avoid developing some worse habits starting in my teens, as I was always a chunky big guy. And they say, you're gonna feel like you can handle all this while you're young. But by the time you hit 30, you're gonna start to feel all the negative impacts of your bad decisions in your teens and early 20s. And did the doctors not lie? Did people that believe in living healthy lives not lie? Did people who believe in vegan lifestyles and pescatarian lifestyles and things of that nature not lie? Did herbologists not lie? That by the time I hit 30, things start going bad. Blood pressure started creeping up and I started struggling to keep control it. I changed my life, started running the street, but then I went from 150 pounds soaking wet to 200, 230. So I finally got smaller for the wrong reasons. I was doing too much drinking and drugging. And I wasn't eating right, and I wasn't eating as half the time period. Well, I learned to eat one meal a day because I needed a meal, but I rarely was hungry because I was so busy running in the fast lane, chasing a couple dollars, but most of all chasing a high to deal with a lot of feelings of loss in a different way. I had lost my roadmap to success. I had lost my desire to live a legitimate, prosperous, upwardly mobile lifestyle, utilizing my education, and was starting to learn how to survive in the streets, in the underbelly of society, what one used to call a counterculture of illicit activities, drinking, drugging, selling, using, partying, in lounges, in homes, in basements, all of that stuff to go with those lifestyles. But I beg to say, for quite a while, that quote, black market is not so black. It's part of what holds up American economies across the world. The sad part, we may never get rid of illegal activities because the billions we don't count publicly that come from that's spent in the regular economy, without it, many would collapse, including America, potentially, probably. Probably why we're going after some people's oil and other industries right now. But that's for another day. These poor health choices, poor lifestyle choices, lead to the potential to die earlier than you have to. And many of those people who've led healthy lifestyles, eaten well, managed their weight, manage any medical conditions they get early that they don't take off and get significantly worse. Eat a mostly vegetable and fruit diet versus a bunch of meat, starches, carbs, You have to measure that stuff. And I wasn't trying to measure anything. Eat as much as my stomach would hold. Well, we started laughing about the seafood diet. What you mean you on a seafood diet? You only eat seafood? No, I see food, I eat it. And I'd laugh about it and do it. But I was, whoa, horrible. Today I'm alive and getting healthier every day. And it's because I'm learning to live healthy, eat healthy, get rid of stress, not overstress myself, not be too active doing this, that, the other. I'm fortunate. But then I lost a sister a year older. And some of it may be she didn't start living as healthy as me. Didn't manage her health situations as well. Had a few more worse health challenges. She had a stroke. I had congestive heart failure. I adjusted in 2016 and I'm here, in 2026, 10 years later with the healthiest heart I've had in at least 20 years. Yes, my heart is healthier now than it was 20 years ago when I was 40 years old. My blood pressure more stable than it was when I was 40 years old. The diabetes I was developing back then is much more managed now. And I'm back into pre-diabetic stages, managing my health. I'm smaller than I've been in almost 20 years. Trying to get as small as I was 30 years ago. Send all the positive energy into the universe for me. But all of that good living does not help with the feeling of loss, the feeling that, is there anything else I could have done? Is there things others could have done? Spiritually, as Jesus said just before on the cross, could you take this bitter cup from me? Another statement in my spiritual life, religious life. Why hast thou forsaken me? On the verge of major sacrifice for the universe. So we get these feelings, even on the most divine level, where we're not certain we can handle these things. We then need to utilize other spiritual help. We need to utilize the counseling profession. We need to get a therapist or a counselor or a social worker if you know one. People who know how to help people process their feelings and emotions without falling off the cliff of life, having nervous breakdowns, getting stuck in depression, developing depression, then getting stuck in it, or starting to have bipolar swings. Now you're up and down because you can't manage your emotions, your feelings. Different things pop out, and so a lot of them pop off for grief or unresolved anger or resentments, trying to process these feelings. So it's a lot that can happen, go on, and if not addressed in a healthy way. So everything we do to live healthy is not just the consumption of food. A lot of it is how we think, how we handle things. Psychiatrist Dr. Joyce Regina Miller memorial was at our church Saturday morning. I got up to get there. I needed that. Her mom took my sister all over the city singing for the church and introduced her to school choirs and community choirs and citywide choirs. And she ran along with Dr. Miller and her three sisters and to different musical events all over the city, representing the church, the community, the schools. But in Dr. Miller's psychiatric life, she's helped develop the blueprint and the groundbreaking for Bronzeville Behavioral Health Center. She went from a lead position at Tinley Park and the Madden facility that's been mostly shuttered now, and Jackson Park Hospital, and then was one of the leaders and the lead administrators of the Cook County Health Center when she was fighting, had overcome a brain disease tumor, and now was waiting on a heart. And she continued to inspire people. But one thing she always kept up front, as much as people's physical, medical health is important in that advantage point, was just as important, more important, it's been stigmatized, especially in Black and brown communities, is their mental emotional health. So as we wrap up today, I want to say in tribute to Dr. Joyce Regina Miller, who's informally we grew up as she was a Moore, the Moore family, my condolences and prayers, but thank you all for being wonderful leaders of high and stewards of leadership, starting with, as Pastor mentioned, your parents, Mr. John Moore and Livonia Moore, and educators and hard workers and good people, and all the children ended up that. And John, who was lead manager in Coca-Cola and eventually had sight issues, now has his own business with taking product and filling vending machines all over the city and suburbs and at the major airports. In spite of his visual impairment, never giving up and continuing to be inspiration, motivation. The other sisters who have become prominent in their own fields and professions, and great family people. And what a beautiful family. So let's take care of our mental emotional health. Let's find and utilize the resources available to deal with grief so that we don't do something stupid, dangerous, or even possibly kill ourselves not handling our feelings and emotions. It's possible. I'm fortunate that's not really a thought I have, but people have been there, done that. People have grieved themselves to death over loved ones. I had a childhood friend. He grieved himself to death over his mom's transition. His mom died, he didn't recover. 10 years later, 12 years later, he was gone. In 2 or 3 years, he was no longer walking. Grief, depression, he couldn't shake it. And back then, some of it was stigmatized. People didn't know how to help him. Be supportive, be encouraging. And let's stop calling people crazy before they totally lose it. We sometimes push people off the cliff. Stop doing it. Let's help pull them back from the cliff. Let's help bring them back into the fold. Just like I encourage people in the church to continue to help rebuild communities and not stand idly by talking about a great God while they demo the properties, the buildings, destroy housing that family could live in all around the church. Likewise, as people, family, and friends, let's not push people with mental health issues over cliffs. Let's try to bring them in and help them find resources and be part of their support network. Starting with those that grieve when they lose loved ones. And even though it's not something I had to deal with as an adult, those that spend 10, 20 years with their pets and lose them, that can be an emotional toll for those people that love pets like that. I'm not one of those people. I love people like that. I love people deeply. Me and pets And that's an issue, though, I have to clarify, because I think some of it is deep-rooted in childhood, some trauma, drama, some negligence around me. And then, too, we couldn't keep pets early on, so I decided I didn't want pets, for various reasons. They ran away, and all kind of little stuff happened as a kid you don't forget about, losing pets. Pets die on you. You take it hard as a kid. So as an adult, I said I didn't want to deal with pets. So grief, trauma, drama come from it, can be tough no matter what. Thank you, Imani, for being a great, facilitator, coordinator of these shows, and thank you for making sure to handle the technology and being kind and favorable to give me another minute tonight. I want to sign off saying, I feel better than I sound, but it's the seriousness of the moment. I didn't want to get too gritty. It's people that's struggling a lot worse than me. But I don't want to discount, I am struggling. I just have had some great support systems from all my different church friends in a hand up, my community people in a hand up, my recovery community, my church community, and the various communities of religion around me. They all have come out, and my fraternity brothers and sorority sisters from the Divine Nine, not just my Sigma crew. I'm very fortunate I've had all that support, but it's a lot of people need those supports. People like that, and please help pull people back from the cliffs of life and not push people over. Thank you. Let's leave with love and grace, and be blessed, everyone in the viewing audience, and thank you. Be a plum pleasing pleasure to serve you and share with you this evening. Peace out.